So congratulations, both of you. What's that, sorry, Paul?
Where are you?
Oh, I'm in New York.
Oh.
Yeah, in the bathroom because it's the best light in here.
New York too. Where in New York are you?
I'm in the East Village.
Can we elongate this time because I'm taking it? Sorry.
Well, I know it is interesting. It's different to coming into the room and seeing each other, isn't it? Being in all these different spaces. So, Alan, you of course won the Oscar and Golden Globe for your screenplay for American Beauty, and I wondered whether with Uncle Frank it was a film that you could have handed on to another director, or if it was one you felt very strongly that you wanted to direct yourself.
I always want to direct anything I write, honestly. And it's not because I don't trust anybody else to do it. It's because I love directing. I love, to me, it's just a different form of storytelling. And I love working with actors. I love actors. I love watching actors bring stuff that I've written to life in a way that transcends anything I ever thought of when I was just writing it. I love working with the DP and the production designer and people who basically I feel like I just am in awe of what they do and basically want to get out of their way unless it's, unless I need to step in for some reason or another. So it's basically because I love doing it that I want to direct. Not so much that I don't trust anybody else, because I had the greatest experience with somebody else directing my work with Sam Mendes in American Beauty. So I feel like nothing will ever top that.
And Paul, something Kate Winslet said recently, because she's talking about her film Ammonite, was that she felt doing a love scene with another woman felt different, the sort of dynamics of it. And I wondered if you felt it was any different doing intimate scenes with another man, with Peter. And also if you just give me a bit of insight into creating that rich on-screen relationship with him.
You know what? It didn't feel any different to me. I mean, I find love scenes hugely embarrassing in general, and often, I started my career in England. Love scenes often happen indoors, and they're what's called weather cover. So, and because it's always raining in England, you often find yourself on the first day doing the love scene. So it's kind of like, hi, I'm Paul, and you're taking off all of your clothes. So I've always found that the whole thing pretty sort of excruciating, really. And so it didn't feel any more different. And we all loved working with each other so much. And it just felt like the sort of natural expression of what was happening in the scene. It felt like the natural progression of what was happening in the scene. But and how did we create that relationship? I don't know. I find Peter really, really funny. He really makes me laugh. He is comically miserable in real life, which is exactly the opposite of the character he played. And he was always like really frustrated at how what a sunny disposition Wally had the whole time, and kind of slightly resentful of like playing this person who was like happy and positive the whole time. And then you see the movie and he steals it because he is this just he's just sunlight the whole time. And it was really, there's something very charming about being with Peter. And frankly, the whole movie was made with so much love. It was really wonderful. It was a really wonderful experience. So, I mean, the whole thing is saturated. I think you can see that. There was no money, but you can see that it's just saturated in love and affection from the people that made it.
And Paul, you mentioned at the world premiere at Sundance about your father coming out in his 60s. And I wondered if, in some ways, did it feel like a sort of tribute to him doing this, or it just had an extra sort of personal resonance because of that?
It was very important. It was really why I decided I had something to offer that, Alan and I talked about why me playing the part and whether I had anything to sort of give. And you know, I realized in conversations with Alan that the reason he was writing it was a sort of what if this had been, you know, my father's story. What if that was the case? And my what if was, what if my father had managed, because my father came out at 63, but then went back into the closet after a 20-year relationship with a man, Andy, who he loved. But the moment Andy died, really very soon after Andy died, my father went back in the closet and embraced his Catholicism and didn't get the opportunity to mourn his partner in the way that he should have. And then when my father died, I was with him and I found in his pocket a little vial of Andy's ashes that he had always kept with him. But for you know, for me, it was a question of being able to imagine, what if my father had got right with himself and could have had the happy ending that Frank and Wally get in this story. And so that's why I did it, and that's why it was important to me.
Paul and Alan, thanks so much, and I really appreciate you sharing that, especially in this slightly weird scenario.
I'm in some cabin in the woods. Alan knows where Alan is. Lovely talking to you, James.
Yes,
yes, thank you, James.